Good morning, YouTube. So we're back again today with a tournament report and deck profile. I just competed in the Primary Village webcam tournament hosted by HGaming, Egman, and Espira TCG. So go ahead and check all of them out. There's an entire stream of that on Twitch. I was not in any of the featured games on that stream. Yeah, I placed 5th in that tournament, so I figured since we did back-to-back top 8 finishes with Leopardmon Aggro, I'd go ahead and give you guys the edits that I made to the deck and go over a little bit about my rounds. So we'll go ahead and start with the Digitama. We have 4 Upamon, of course, and then I did change the Sunomon to a Wanyamon. This came up a lot, and I don't think I'd go back. The 2000 buff just put a lot of cards where they needed to be to hit over things power-wise. So I really liked the Wanyamon, and especially in blue, getting extra power is always relevant. So we play 5 Digi-Eggs because there were a bunch of long games in this tournament, so I used all 5 very frequently. But going into the main deck, it's blue. You got 4 Hammer Spark. I played 3 Tie last time. I kept that up. This card put in so much work all day. Like, oh my god, this is the best card in this deck. I have 2 Gaia Force. I believe this ratio is the same as last time. I've been considering bumping it up to 3, but we have 2. So those are the options in the Tamers. Small little 5-card red engine does wonders in blue. It just adds so much versatility to this deck. Onto the rookies. The rookie lineup is exactly the same. We have 14 of them. We have 4 Gabumon, 4 Gomamon, the memory gainer one. We have 2 vanilla Gomamon, and 4 Elecmon. So 14 rookies. The same rookies you'll see in pretty much every blue deck that is ever profiled. Where it gets different is level 4s. We still have the 3 Digimon. This card is amazing. It's one of the keystones of the deck. Just the ability to attack twice with the tie on board. Pumping it up to 7,000 is really good. I got a tie and a Wanyamon boost on this in one of my games, and it just sealed it up. I changed the Leomon out for a Garurumon. Now, this card came up so many times during the tournament. I would not go back. I wouldn't bump it up just because I'm not playing the Metal Garurumon, and it's not as effective with Leopardmon because you have to attack and then evolve. With Metal Garurumon, you get to pull this out on attack, so it is better in those kind of decks. But still, as a one-of in this deck, this is very powerful. I comboed this with... I had 2 Memory Tamers on board in one of my games, and I comboed this with the Memory Tamers, and I gained 9 memory that turn. And I just went off. So that was just one of the things I did with this. I was able to unsuspend a Leopardmon, go in twice with that. I was able to have a Veedramon attack 3 times. That was funny. I was able to have an Elecmon with jamming, take out the last security, and then play this for game. So this card came up, and I wouldn't go back. This is one of the biggest changes in the deck, and the change that needs the most explaining. The rest of the level 4s are the same. We have 4 Gorilla and 4 Grizzly, because this deck often degenerates to Gorilla Beat, and having 4 blockers is very important. So we still have 12 level 4s. It's just the Leomon that got changed. Onto the level 5s. I did cut a Were-Garurumon, just for some consistency. I cut the other Were-Garurumon for a second copy of Monzemon. I was only playing one of this before. The 2 cost to evolve was just really nice, and it kind of offsets the memory that Leopardmon takes to evolve into. So I like this ratio. You're drawing a lot of cards, so getting a level 5 is important. The one thing that I would love to have in this deck is to be able to play another level 5, but I'm struggling to find the room. So we have these 5, and then to round it off, to get our 7 level 5s, we have the 2 Zudomon. I think the third one that I'd put in, if I could put in an 8th level 5, I'd put in a third copy of this, and I'll buy one whenever set 1.0 is officially released, but until then, we have the 2. So, those are the level 5s. The level 6s, there was one change. I cut the Volcanic Dramon and put in a second Plesio. Since this tournament was a tournament for digitubers and, people that I expected to be of a higher caliber of play, I didn't expect to see Rookie Rush. So I cut the Volcanic for this because it gives me more value. And having value in a deck is always good. The vanilla level 6s in every color are just good options to consider. So we have those 2. We have the 1 Metal Seadramon. So this card was in my security more than I ever saw it. So it came up a couple times during the tournament, but it didn't pull its weight like it did the last time. But still, I wouldn't cut it because whenever I saw it, it was amazing. So I just wish I saw it more often. That was my one complaint about it. And then I have the 3 Leopard. This is another one of the keystones of the deck. And it will continue to be. So for those of you that don't know, this gives everything that's level 4 or lower on your side of the field jamming. And whenever you Digivolve into this, you pull out a level 4 or lower from anywhere or from any stack on your side of the field, like any Digivolution stack. So you can use it to recycle your blockers, your Veedramon, your Gorilla after you evolve up. And it was just so useful. These are the 6 level 6s that we play. That's 48 of the 50 cards. I'm sure you can guess the last 2. It's Double Omni. You love to hate them. It's a good card, but it is not the focus of the deck. So I wouldn't play more than 2, even if I had more than 2. I only have 2, but even if I had a third one, I think 2 is the magic number for this card. You see it when you want to, and your level 6s are good enough that you don't want to evolve on top of them all of the time. You mainly just use them for the removal whenever your opponent tries to push back after you've already established a board state. So it's a good card, don't get me wrong. But that's the deck. So talking about the tournament a little bit, we didn't do a top cut. It was play until there was one undefeated player, and that undefeated player won a box. So I kind of wish we did a top cut because it would have been more games, more chance to promote yourself. But you take what you can get. I got some great games in, played some really nice people. So you're probably wondering what my record was. So technically, I was undefeated in Swiss. So I had a bye, which gave me the free win. I had a draw against purple, yellow, Hyperstall. It was a deck that if you can beat that deck in the 50-minute time frame, kudos to you. Because it is a deck that'll just... It has all of the defensive options that Purple Stall has, where it can just play these Tsukaimon, evolve into these blockers, get these blockers back with your purple recursion, have the purple removal cards, and then just hard play a Magna Angemon. Evolve it into Seraphimon. Oh, I'm low in security. I'm going to play this Magnadramon, and then next turn swing with this Magnadramon to play the Tsukaimon that I've been holding in my hand, and then evolve that into a Unimon, because this deck needs more blockers for some reason. But that opponent that was piloting that brilliant deck was Joe Dobby, a great player, and he was a great opponent. So definitely excited for him to release that deck profile, because in a tournament setting, it's very hard to beat. That deck is just It's very hard to get a W against that deck. It's kind of easier to get a draw against that deck because it's so stally, but like a draw is not what I was aiming for. And since they were only playing, or since we were playing until one person was undefeated, when I got that draw, it meant that I could not get first place anymore since we weren't doing a top cut, which is unfortunate. But you know what? It is what it is. And you were a great opponent. And then going on, I played another yellow player. This time he was playing pure yellow. It looked very similar to True Champion Steven's build that he used to top 2 webcam tournaments, and with some personal changes. Like there was a couple of tech choices I noticed he was playing. Like I think he was playing he's playing some Kentorismon, and he was playing one of the Seraphimon, which I thought was neat. Really gave him some value in that deck. But again, it was a yellow stally deck. He played it like a yellow stall deck. So it was just very, very hard to beat him. And I mean, he was a great, great opponent. But I could not beat him in the 50-minute time frame. So I drawed against him as well. So I didn't lose. I had 3 wins, technically, because I had a bye, which nothing I can do about that, you know? My opponent had some technical difficulties on their end, had to drop out of the tournament at the last minute, you know, and it happens. I wish whoever that person was the best of luck. So going on, I did play against a red Omnimon matchup. It played a lot of cool cards. He played Starlight Explosion, he played War Greymon, he played Breakdramon, the Garudamon, he played the promo Biomon. He was doing a lot of cool things. I'm blanking on his name right now, but when I think of it, it'll be in the description. But yeah, really cool dude. And it was one of those games that he didn't draw as well as he could have, but the games lasted long enough that he was able to play out of it. Like, he triple Omnimon me one of the games. That was fun. But I still managed to 2-0 him somehow. His Starlight Explosions, or no, I'm sorry, I did not 2-0 him. It was 2-1. But his Starlight Explosions were not useful against me at all. It was one of those things that, since my Leopardmon gave everything jamming, it just stalled me from attacking with the Leopardmon for a turn, so I could just swing with all of my little dudes. So it was one of those games that I just had the matchup advantage. Typically, Red Omni beats Blue Omni, but this deck is not Blue Omni. This deck is designed to beat most of the meta decks, including Blue Omni. And that shows in my last round that I played, which was the Blue Omni matchup. And let me tell you how good this deck is against Omnimon. Oh boy, you just hit them, and you hit them, and you don't stop. It is very awkward. It is a very awkward matchup, especially since this man was playing the cock breath. Like, I could not get around the cock breath anytime I had the big ol' leopard boy on the board, and I would get around his Plesio, so that I'd be like, all right, cool, I removed the level 6, so now he doesn't have something to Digivolve into Omnimon. And then he was like, all right, cool, we're going to play down, and then we're going to cock breath. And I'm like, all right, it happens. But we bounced back. That was the game that I did my sick Garurumon, Were-Garurumon combo, where I had the 2 Were-Garurumons on the board, and I gained like 9 memory and just made a massive tempo push. And then followed it up by ending my turn with a Gaia Force on one of his Omnimon. So it was one of those things that this deck is kind of designed to beat Blue Omnimon specifically. Like, Blue Omnimon, Purple, and Red Omnimon, it struggles with a little bit more just because a lot of them are playing Gallantmon, and that card gives me a lot of trouble. But the red Omnimon decks that aren't playing Gallantmon struggle very hard against this deck. So that was my tournament report. Oh, by the way, my last opponent was Digislots. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of him. He's a pretty well-known Digituber. But again, the opponents that I played, I played Joe Dobby with his really, really cool purple-yellow deck. I had an opponent who played a really cool yellow stall deck, but he has a channel, but he hasn't uploaded anything to it yet. So when he does, I will link that. And then we had my next opponent, who I'm blanking on your name. I'm sorry, man, but with the red Omnimon, we'll get your channel in the description as well. And then we had Digislots with the Blue Omni matchup, but I had 2 draws and 3 wins. So that put me at 5th place since there was not a top cut. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next time. Thanks.